This is what happens when you learn good body language the wrong way.
My brother-in-law Paul, he's lovely. He's a real people person.
So, James, pleasure to meet you, James. Real pleasure to meet you. Heard a lot about you, James.
Really?
Zing, like it. So, tell me, James, what do you do for your day job? I'm asking because I'm genuinely interested.
Well, I work in a sewage treatment plant.
But this is what happens when you learn good body language the right way.
Shit, no one's watching. What do you care?
Wait, this is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
Don't get it? Let me explain. Now my hair's looking a little bit weird, but I can't delay making this video any longer. I can't wait for my perfectionism to go away. I have to make this video because it has the potential to help out a lot of people, especially someone that maybe is like my younger self. What my younger self did was stumble across these channels that were all about body language, all about charisma, all about doing these like tiny little things that are meant to make you seem more powerful, make you seem more grounded and more relaxed. And you'll see these videos called like body language analysis of these movie characters, maybe Thomas Shelby, some of these like cool, powerful characters, right? And they pause the video like every 2 seconds when my guy breathes, when Thomas Shelby breathes, or takes a pause in the middle of a sentence. Oh my god, guys, that's super powerful. And I was obsessed with a lot of that when I was younger. And really, now that I think about it, the core reason why I watched all of those videos was because I wanted some respect. But the single most important thing that I failed to realize was that this was basically masturbation. Jumping from video to video, all of these body language, five ways to show that you're really powerful. Sit like this. Oh, you have to stand like this. No. You can't have your hands in your pockets. That's a low sign of submission. It's all masturbation, if you get what I mean. Because no one has ever mentioned, and no one seems to realize in this self-improvement space, or this charisma, or this confidence, or this body language space, that we have something called micro expressions. And what micro expressions are, really simply, let me just give you an example and you'll get it instantly instead of me rambling on about the philosophy. And essentially, this story is about a guy that murdered his whole entire family. It's fucking horrible, and you can look up the case if you want. I think his name was like Chris Watts or whatever, and he's now in prison, thank God, for like 3 life sentences. But essentially, when I was doing research for this video, I found a bunch of police body cam and a bunch of footage from the CCTV in the interrogation room when they're interrogating him. And something that I noticed was that there were a lot of these channels that were analyzing the body language of this Chris Watts. And for a very good reason, because that was, I think, one of the main things that gave away that he was the one that murdered his family. And essentially why I'm telling you this case was because of one specific point in one of those videos I was telling you about, analyzing his body language. Imagine putting yourself in his shoes for a moment. Imagine you just done one of the most severe crimes and one of the most inhumane crimes ever. You've hit all of the bodies, you've literally killed your own fucking family. That I want to emphasize that point. And now you're trying to hide it. You're trying to act innocent. You're trying to put on this fake facade act for the police to not think that you're a suspect. But then, as the police knock on your house, the situation escalates. Your neighbors are getting involved, your relatives are getting involved, and the police are searching all around your house, asking you questions. But then suddenly, imagine one of the police that come into your house, he's standing behind you. And then you also hear him say something to the radio that might be related to you. In any case, you have to remember that this guy probably has a billion thoughts in his head, and he's probably feeling the most anxious that a man can feel. And just like that, as soon as the police touches the radio and says something, the micro expression kicks in. And then the truth comes out.
Now, it seems Officer Coonrod throws Chris a little test to see how guilty Chris really feels. As you just saw, he walked a few feet behind Chris, and if you never saw a man shit his pants, watch this.
Dispatch, Rick 91, you can cancel.
Look at that terrified look on his face. He thought the officer was radioing him in to arrest him right there.
Medical third stage.
Now, why did I tell you this story about this killer? I wanted you to understand that we have something called micro-expressions and that you cannot hide the truth within yourself. Whether this situation applies to in a different scenario, so for example, maybe it's you hiding the fact that you're shy and nervous instead of, you killed your fucking family, and you're trying to hide your nervousness and your shyness against your crush because you don't want her to feel like you're weird. Eventually, you will slip up somewhere. And that slip up, if they notice it, if your crush sees it, it's much more unattractive than just showing that you're a little bit awkward at first and then becoming a little bit more confident as you talk to her more and get to know her more. Because it's like a form of distrust. It's like you're inauthentic, and once they see that you have a micro expression, it's like they now know that you've been hiding something all along. And actually, just to back up my point even further, actors in big movies, Hollywood, all of those actors, right? Let's just take the Joker for an example. These actors, I'm sure you've heard of this term before if you've ever been to school and you've done the fucking drama subject. There's a term called method acting. Right? And this is where you actually get really, really into your character. Let's say you're playing the Joker. The guy that played the Joker probably fucked himself up a little bit, right? He probably fucked up his mental health, probably started taking a little bit of medication, started drinking more alcohol. Probably, right? And that's probably why or how he played the Joker so well. It's because they know fundamentally you have to embody and feel inside like the Joker to play the Joker naturally. Because imagine trying to control every single thing. Imagine using your conscious brain. So I'm going to move this hand to the left, I'm going to move this hand to the right. Imagine doing that for every part of your body every single second. Imagine how fucking tiring that would be. That's fundamentally what you accomplish by watching those body language analysis videos. So guys, Thomas Shelby put his hand on the table. That is a form of dominance. You have to learn that. So now you probably get the fundamentals of micro expressions, right? You understand that, deep inside, if you're feeling like shit, you can't really perform in a good way. You can't fake your body language, really. So then you're probably thinking, what do we do then? How do we improve our body language? Because surely there's a way to improve your body language, right? There's no way that Chad naturally gets to have amazing body language and I'm just sitting here like a loser, right? Well, think about it. What was the problem in the first place? Feeling fundamentally like shit. You don't believe you're worthy enough. You don't believe you have the self-confidence. You're not relaxed next to her. That's the problem. Oh, and by the way, just saying, if you wanted to join a free Charisma community to learn more about charisma and lock in your position before the server gains any traction and have it free for the rest of your life, whilst the price of the community goes up and up and up when it eventually gets traction, when I make a good video and people watch and people click. Link in the description below. Let's get back to the video. So what do you think the solution is? Oftentimes, if you know the problem, you can probably figure out what the solution is. And so the solution here is to change how you feel inside. And so I know that term, change how you feel inside, it's beginning to sound a little bit mystical and hypothetical, correct? But what if I told you that this is possible? That I am like exhibit A or whatever they say. I am evidence that this is true. What if I told you that I was once horribly mentally ill? Okay, not like the psychiatric, like I'm a bitch type of mental illness. Not like guys, I'm mentally ill and I'm not gonna go into school today. What if I told you I just had a really, really bad negative thought mindset when it comes to anything social? What if I told you that if I'm just walking through the hallway and I get like a look from one of these popular kids or a roadman, then I'd literally be cracking down. I'd be like, oh, wait, look at me that way. What if I told you I had such bad mental health that on a day that I'm supposed to go out with my family to like a restaurant at dinner, that I'm just overthinking every single interaction, even with the waitress, even with the people on the tables nearby, that I can't even enjoy a simple fucking dinner with my family. And now, after practicing what I preach, what I'm gonna tell you in a second, that now I walk through the streets with a smile on my face. And I'm grateful. I'm in this, I can't really find any words right now, but in this like Jesus type attitude. I'm grateful for everyone. What if I told you that I've essentially made my brain on my side again? Instead of giving me these thoughts of self-criticism, self-doubt, self-hate. Oh, why did I do that? I should have done that better. And what if I also told you that I can now see the good things in a bad situation? So, if you believe me, you believe me. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. But here are the 2 tips regardless.
One thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
Now, before we start this section, I just want to say that if you skipped to this part, I'm not saying that you did. I say this in literally all my videos. But if you didn't watch the part before this about the micro expressions and why learning body language is completely pointless, I urge you to watch that. In fact, if you watch anything in this video, please make it be that part. That part is so fucking crucial for the action steps of this video, because without that part, none of this would make sense. And you'll probably just think this is like another average, oh, hey guys, if you want better sleep, do more exercise, just some basic advice video. No, I promise you this will change your fucking life, but you have to listen to the philosophy. So if you did skip, go back and watch that. If you didn't, let's get to it. Imagine you're walking to school and there's this girl that you see every single time, and maybe she gives you a little bit of eye contact. You give her a little bit of eye contact. I'm sure you've had this scenario before, right? Or maybe you're sitting outside the hallway and you're waiting for your teacher to open the door to the lesson, and everyone's just sitting there in silence, you know, they're all maybe on their phones, or just, it's a little bit awkward. What do you think the win there would be? The win would be talking to the person, killing that awkward situation by starting up a small talk conversation. That would be a win. Or maybe it's that girl that you walk to school and she gives you some slight eye contact, saying hey, or giving her a little bit of a smile. That's a win. And the whole point of this win more tip is to build yourself a more sociable lifestyle. Think about it. Imagine this is most people's life, right? You walk to school, you barely speak a little bit, you really only talk to people when people talk to you, so you rely on the popular kids to talk to you first and then you answer. Or maybe the teacher asks you a question and you try to avoid it, but then the teacher's like, no, answer the question, and then you finally answer the question in a like really monotone voice because you really don't want to. And then after the school day of not talking to anyone, you walk home, you maybe watch a little bit of YouTube, watch a little bit of TikTok, and then you go to the gym maybe, and then that's basically your day. But then imagine if you went about life, you talk to the cashier, talk to the receptionist, instead of just like, thank you, I'll have two of this. You actually have like a small talk conversation with them. Like, let me just give you an example. Me and my mum went to this market in this like really nice town, and it's like this Saturday farmers market, right? I went there to buy raw organic milk that's like grass-fed, and after buying the milk, we go and explore the town a little bit, and we walk quite a fair bit away from the market, and we find this restaurant. We want to go in and we sit down and order. But here's the thing, the milk store that we bought the milk, and you know, they're keeping it in the cold containers because it's a hot sunny day, and so we're supposed to come back at 1 to get the milk. But here's the thing, it's now 12:50 and we're in the restaurant and we've just ordered, and we've walked all the way uphill to this restaurant and the market's all the way down here. And so what do I have to do? Being the athletic son, I have to run all the way down there in full sweat, full speed, otherwise my milk is gone. So I'm running, seeing all of the people being really angry that why are people so fucking slow? And who the fuck stands in the middle of the street playing on their phone? I'm trying to get my milk here. And so I'm run all the way back down to collect my milk. And thank God he's still there packing up. And so I collect my milk, walk all the way back up, and I'm feeling like a hero right now because I also had like a small talk conversation with the guy that's selling the milk, and I told him, oh, I had to run back all the way down here from the restaurant all the way up there, and he's like, oh really, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry about that. And when I go back into the restaurant, what I didn't tell you beforehand was that there was a decently cute waitress in there, and you know, she was our waitress, she served us. And so when I came back into the restaurant holding the bags, feeling like a fucking G, feeling like a hero with my hair messed up from the wind, she gave me a smile, I gave her a smile, because I think she basically got the gist of what I was doing. When I literally ran out of the door, I was saying, oh, I'll be back in a moment, I have to collect something real quick. And obviously I sit down and eat my shit because it's literally been sitting there for like 5 minutes. And at the end of the dinner, when we're all paying the bill, get the card machine, the waitress comes over and says, how was everything? You know, small talk. And then I mentioned how I ran all the way down, and then, you know, there's a market down there. And she's like, oh, is there a real market? And I tell her about the market, and it's just such a nice conversation because she didn't know about the market. I have to check out next time. And imagine having this lifestyle. Imagine being social like this, talking to the receptionist, talking to the cashier, instead of that loner lifestyle where you don't even say a word at school and, you know, go to the gym and come back, watch some YouTube. Imagine how much easier it would be to talk to a girl, right? Imagine how much easier it would be to start up a conversation with some random stranger. So how does this relate to body language, you might be thinking? One of the most powerful things that change my state in the current moment, change how I feel when I'm feeling like shit, or change how I feel when I'm in an awkward situation to make myself feel charismatic again, is by recalling these wins that I've just told you about. Me having a nice small talk conversation with that waitress, I just recall that in my mind. Or maybe a girl gives me a smile when I'm walking to school and I smile back. I recall that win when I'm in a situation that's very awkward, or I'm in a situation with new strangers. And what that does, this is very important, is change how you feel inside during that awkward situation. And then that helps you actually break out of that conversation and win again. And this is powerful because if you know anything about momentum, this momentum applies to literally any part of self-improvement, even discipline, even your work. So for example, maybe you're trying to kill off a bad habit. The first time where you reject doing that habit, the first time where you tell yourself, no, I'm not gonna do that habit, I'm gonna wait it out, I'm gonna resist my temptations. Oftentimes the first step is the hardest, correct? And so if you just keep on going, you'll eventually reach a point where it's just momentum. And then this is your greatest chance of truly making a big impact in your social life. And not to mention, completely see yourself as a charismatic person instead of a loser that just, you know, doesn't even speak a word at school. Now, that being said, let me give you a pro tip to make this that much easier. You can start off with very, very small things. That's a pro tip. You can start off with literally just smiling at a girl, a random girl that walks by. But another one could be adding an extra sentence on the end of any conversation with a cashier, receptionist, just whoever you're talking to. Maybe you're waiting to get a haircut and you're just sitting there on the couch with another dude that's waiting to get a haircut. Start up a conversation and maybe you end the conversation after, oh, that's pretty cool. Start it again, add more, add an extra sentence. But then you might be thinking, and this is a limiting doubt that I used to have as well, so I totally get it. The people at your school already see you as this silent and shy guy. So it may be a little bit hard for you to break out and start talking to people with extra sentences when they already see you as this silent guy, right? In which case, I believe the next tip will help you significantly. Now, the second thing I would say is to join a boxing gym, or join a gym if you don't already go gym. Now, I recommend the boxing gym because, you know, you'll also learn how to fight, and that brings you a degree of confidence as well. Also, the people in there are sort of higher quality, and, you know, you learn basic respect. For example, if you get paired up with the strongest guy in the gym, and you learn how to respect him. You learn the respect of tapping the gloves, please don't fucking hurt me, please don't break my nose. And you build relationships really fast in the boxing gym because you always ask each other for the name, and whenever you get paired up, you just make small talk as well. So that's a really, really easy way of meeting decently high quality people, and not to mention they're all strangers, so you have nothing to worry about. And why I'm telling you this, just to relink it all back, why I'm telling you these 2 tips that aren't necessarily related to body language, well, think about it. What do? They raise your internal state. You don't want to see yourself as this socially awkward guy. You want to see yourself as a social guy, and then that will automatically go into your body language. Now, that said, those 2 pieces of advice will probably get you far enough. They'll probably jumpstart your social success. They'll probably jumpstart your journey towards being a very, very charismatic individual and getting your body language right. But what if I told you there was something stronger and something that requires a much longer video to go in depth into, a 3-step framework that is based in Stoicism that completely changes the way you think about situation and in turn changes how you react to them? And what I mean by this is, imagine a reckless driver on the motorway or the highway, and it's you and your family, but then there's this dickhead in the car that's driving around, driving recklessly. And the driver of your car, maybe it's your uncle, your mum, your dad, whatever, they're getting angry at the reckless driver. But what if I told you that the reckless driver was actually a husband driving his wife to hospital because his wife needs to give birth? Then that would immediately change your anger towards sympathy, wouldn't it? That would immediately kill off your anger. That's what the 3-step framework will bring you. It will bring you a new way of thinking, and in turn, whenever you have a situation that makes you feel like shit, makes you feel negative, makes you feel socially anxious. For example, I don't know, you meet your friend in the hallway and you nod at him, but then he doesn't nod back and he doesn't see it. You probably feel like, oh, he doesn't like me anymore. Oh, that hurt. That was awkward. What if I told you you can completely get rid of that? And so with the 3-step framework, that will help you. And so if you want to find out how to change your way of thinking and in turn how you respond, check out the video on the screen now. See you there.